Good afternoon, everybody. Big Mike back here with you once again. Welcome back to Big Mike Talks, where today I'm going to be talking about the week that was in pro wrestling. So for now, that's going to be WWE Monday Night Raw and NWA Power. Next week, Dynamite's coming back. Dynamite review is coming back. So hopefully you guys are excited for that. But for now, we're going to start with Monday Night Raw. We got a recap of the Intercontinental title match we had last week where Bloodline cost Jey Uso. Then we have a recap of SmackDown with Bloodline versus Bloodline, including Jey getting a little revenge. So we start off Raw proper with Jey Uso cutting a promo saying, a lot has happened for me the past few weeks. I lost the title. I'm involved in all this Bloodline drama, but I then cost them the tag team titles. But there's only one Uso I want to talk to right now, and you know who you are, so come on out. This brings out Jimmy Uso, Jey's twin brother. And I'm going to say this, I love Jimmy Uso's theme song. It's really, really good. So Jimmy then starts off saying, look, I'm out here on Raw to thank you. We need to be together to stop Solo. Then Jey stops Jimmy in his tracks, saying, we might be blood, but there is no bloodline here. The last time I saw you, Jimmy, we were fighting at WrestleMania. And a lot has happened since then. They know the difference between you and I now. I became Intercontinental Champion by myself, but no title tops being your brother. And we got a lot of stuff to fix. But this go around, there's no acknowledgements. I'm no one's sidekick. We do this all together. We be the Usos. That gets a big pop from the crowd. Then we get Jimmy replying, alright, why don't you come to SmackDown and squash that beef with Roman? Because, yeah, they got some beef. Anyway. So Jey says, yeah, I'll be there. Jimmy and Jey then go in for an embrace. Then all of a sudden, New Blood show up. They attack Jimmy and Jey. Gorillas of Destiny tie Jimmy in the ring ropes. Jacob Fatu is about to hit a hip attack into a chair into Jey Uso's face. Jey then gets up, chucks it at Jacob Fatu's mug, which that looked like it hurt. And then Jimmy fights out of his restraints, and just two of them throw a super kick. Party! And it was pretty good. And we see security come out, keep both sides in their corners. I love this opening segment. It was really, really good. There are some spoilers of what happened on SmackDown. Or, what's going to happen tonight. But I'll keep that for my SmackDown review. Then we cut to Adam Pearce. He's in the back. He's talking with Nick Aldis. Talking about securing his show, which is very, very funny. Then the Judgment Day walk in. Dom says to Adam Pearce, saying, I'm ready to take on any former world champion tonight. I don't care who it is. And Adam Pearce reveals that the former world champion you're going to be facing tonight is Damian Priest. So, obviously not the most exciting announcement, but it does make sense. So then Dom replies, I know all his little tricks. there's a reason why we called him the Punishment. And then Dom tells the rest of the Judgment Day, I want to go out there alone and prove to you guys I have what it takes. So, Dom looking to prove himself. Will he stick up for that? Stick to that? We'll see. So that was our opening couple of segments. We then moved to our first matchup of the evening, as it's Ludwig Kaiser versus Sheamus. I am glad Sheamus has moved on from Butch. However, we are now moving back to Ludwig Kaiser. It was definitely an interesting little matchup. Kaiser definitely using more of his finesse over Sheamus's, brute force. But eventually, Sheamus hits the bro kick to pick up the win. Kind of a basic TV match, but I enjoyed what I saw. Hopefully we can get something a bit more significant for Sheamus to do. Like maybe the Intercontinental title. Then we get a vignette promo from Rhea Ripley. Like, she's kind of in the back somewhere. I guess it's in the old Judgment Day hangout. She says, Raquel, you tried to paint me yourself a picture. The difference between you and I, you deserve the beatings you've gotten. And it seems like all you two want is cry. And I just want my title back. And you'll have to kill me to stop me. Alright, nice little line drawn in the sand. Although it appears we have a bit of an injury for Miss Rhea Ripley, as Raquel and Liv Morgan attacked her on NXT this past week. So, we'll see where that one goes. Then we see both Jimmy and Jay. They're walking down a hallway backstage. They run into Sami Zayn. Which, surprise there. Holy heck. So, Sami says to Jay, can I talk to you for a minute? Kind of looks at Jimmy. Alone? So Jimmy walks off. Then Jay says, Sami kind of asked Jay, so it's all good now between you and your brother after everything he's done to you? Jay then replies, Solo's been worse. Sami replies, he's not the one that got into your head. While I'm on your side, I don't want to be involved. Jay then replies, it's not your fight No, this is still Sami. This is not your fight anymore. Then Jay replies, you wouldn't understand because you're not family. Damn, that bombshell. Holy heck. So, if you don't know, I want to say this was 2021-ish. Sami was an honorary Uce in the Bloodline and took part in that War Games match. So, Jay's saying this to Sami. I have no doubt Sami's going to be involved in the Bloodline story going forward. Then we have a nice little Gunther kind of vignette / promo with him calling out Cody Rhodes, calling him the QB of the WWE. But instead, you're a gutless champion. And at Saudi Arabia, I'm going to drag those closest to you into... You're going to drag those closest to you into your business. But Friday, it's going to be Imperium, me and Kaiser, versus you and Randy Orton. And then I'm going to ask Randy how it feels to be choked out by me. Ooh. Fighting words from the World Heavyweight Champion. Love it. I love everything that Gunther has. He's great. Then we get this weird little matchup as it's Zelina Vega taking on Ivy Nile It has been so long since I've seen Ivy Nile in a match. Great to see her. It was definitely a little bit of a clash of styles, but it definitely worked. Because Vega looked like $1,000,000. Ivy Nile, she's Ivy Nile. She's definitely really good. At one point, we see both these ladies on the outside. They're being managed by their teammates. Ivy by the Creed brothers. Vega by Cruz del Toro and Joaquin Wilde of the LWO. And one point, the Creeds get up on the apron to distract Vega from hitting a code red. Then the LWO pull them off the apron and they just brawl, which is interesting. Which then set up Ivy for a swinging Uranagi, in which I hope that gets a name, because that was actually a really good move for Ivy Nile to pick up the win. So definitely good to see Ivy Nile being built up a little bit. Hopefully she can get at least near the world title picture. So next up, backstage, we see Jimmy. He's packing up his things, ready to go. In walks Jay. And Jimmy asks Jay, how did that talk with Sammy go? Jay then answers, I told him he wasn't family. And then when you left, he stepped up. Jimmy then says, I'll talk to him. Jay answers, nah, that would just make it worse. Then Jimmy says, alright, I'll step off. And we'll see what happens a little later on. It's going to be a little shocking. So next we head to the ring for a Seth Rollins promo. Definitely good to hear from him. Where he says, I'm on the hunt for a monster. Bronson Reed is that monster. But so am I. You've brought out a side of me that thought I put to bed a long time ago. Reed, you woke that monster up. And I kinda like it. And at Crown Jewel. And before he can continue, we see Bronson Reed on the big Titantron. He says, Seth, I promised Adam Pearce I wouldn't put my hands on you in the arena. But if you want to hunt a monster, I'm out here in the parking lot. So he's clearly out in the parking lot. Seth kind of looks down a minute, brings the mic back up to his mouth, says, don't move, big man, I'm on my way. So then Seth gets out of the ring, takes his jacket off, and makes a beeline to the parking lot, where he runs into Adam Pearce, who says, look, I don't want this fight, you gotta stop this. And then Seth kind of pushes Adam Pearce out of the way, and the two men just brawl all over the parking lot. It was pretty awesome. Including Seth hitting Bronson Reed with like a milk crate, which was funny as heck. Then Seth throws a trash can at Bronson Reed, who's up in a truck. He tries to hit something. I'm not 100% sure what. Bronson Reed then hits a Death Valley driver from the inside of the truck bed through a couple of tables. This match is going to be absolutely nuts. I do believe it needs a little stipulation. I'm not sure what. So then we cut to somewhere else backstage, and it's the Alpha Academy, and they're working out for some reason. In walks R-Truth, who says, you guys look way better without that little man Gable bossing you around. In walks The Miz, who says, hear me out, I'm sorry. Alpha Academy leave. He says, I've seen the error of my ways. It's about us. I need you more than ever. And it does look like R-Truth is about to reconcile with the Miz. They do their little dance. And then R-Truth smacks the taste out of Miz's mouth. Goes down by his ear and says, "Good luck with the Wyatts, man. You're gonna die." Truth. Pulling some serious stuff out. I like it. And then he walks past Pete Dunne, says, "Hey, Butch, what's up?" And then walks off. An R-Truth Pete Dunne program. Never thought I'd say I'd want that, but I kind of want that. Next match up, we got a number one contenders match for the World Tag Team titles. It's about time, as we have the LWO being represented by Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee, which is an interesting combination. Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods of the New Day, and the rechristened War Raiders, Eric and Ivar. And this match was honestly a lot of fun. A lot of really, really good back and forth. It looked like, New Day were about to get the win. However, before Xavier Woods could hit his big elbow drop, Rey Mysterio ends up on the apron. Woods goes after him. Rey Mysterio with the low bridge. Dragon Lee takes him out with a dive. Rey Mysterio with the Hurricane Rana goes for the 619. However, on the outside of the ring is Chad Gable. Hits him with the ankle lock. And War Raiders with their clothesline suplex combination, which I am not sure what that is. I'm really not. But they pick up the win. They're the new number one contenders. And honestly, they should be the new champions. No offense to JD and Finn Balor, but I think Finn is over Judgment Day. We then get a medical update on Seth Rollins. He has been taken to the hospital and he's going to be evaluated for his injuries. So, kind of an injury angle going into Crown Jewel. Then we see Adam Pearce talking with The Miz backstage, with The Miz asking Adam for more security because he is being chased by the Wyatts and the Final Testament, which is going to be interesting. Adam Pearce then points behind The Miz. In walks Final Testament. Miz says to them, "Oh, good, I'm glad you're here. I got a new plan for you guys. If you guys see the Wyatts, we're going to run." Then Karrion Kross says to Miz, "Tonight, we're going to go find Bo Dallas. You're going to handle my business, or I'm going to break your legs." Oh, okay, Kross. I see what you're doing. We don't really get a follow-up on this episode, which probably would be somewhere in the third hour, but now that it's 2, that's kind of it. It was revealed on socials that Miz did find Bo Dallas, but he got abducted by the Wyatt 6. So, that's going to be interesting. So now, we see Jimmy Uso. He's walking backstage, walking out of the arena into the car park, and he just freezes like a deer in headlights, like he's just seen a ghost. So Jey Uso walks up, asks Jimmy, "Have you talked to Sammy?" Jimmy just then points straight ahead. Camera turns. Zooms in on a car. We see Sami Zayn talking with Solo Sikoa. Ooh, the implications on this are interesting. So then, Camera zooms back out to Jimmy and Jay. Jimmy then tells Jay, I told you, Uce, family is all we need. So, we'll see what happens with Sami Zayn. I got a funny feeling he'll be involved with this bloodline stuff. Maybe come Crown Jewel. But he's more than likely going to be in War Games. Otherwise, they don't really have another Samoan in there. And then we go to our main event of Raw, which is Damian Priest taking on Dominic Mysterio, in which if Dominic wins, Dominic gets a world title shot. So Dom then jumps Priest before the bell. Bell goes off. Goes for a 619. Priest catches him and then just starts beating the absolute tar out of Dominic Mysterio. Dom goes for the Three Amigos, but then that gets countered into the Broken Arrow, which is honestly just a fantastic little move. Priest hits the South of Heaven, but Dom rolls out of the ring. Priest follows him, hits a pounce over the announce table, which that was interesting. They get back in. JD McDonough and Carlito come out. They attack Priest with the ref distracted. Priest ends up fighting back. Gets a chair, hits a couple of chair shots on Priest, Carlito and JD. Right in front of the referee, which is interesting because he's not hitting Dom with the chair. So then Liv and Raquel Rodriguez come out. They save Carlito and JD from the beatdown. From behind is Dominic Mysterio hitting the roll-up and picking up the surprise victory, which I am honestly surprised by that. Anyway, so post-match, Priest continues to beat up Dominic Mysterio, hits a big old razor's edge, picks up a chair, just chair shots for all. Then Carlito comes in, covers Dominic a little, and then Priest with a couple of South of Heavens for both Carlito and Dominic. So, I'm going to say this. Very sports entertained by this show. However, as a go-home show to Crown Jewel, there's not really a ton of meat on this bone. Like, don't get me wrong. Like I said, very entertaining, very good. Stories pushed forward. But something felt missing. I don't know. It was a little awkward. So, that was WWE Raw. We now move to NWA Power, in which we start with this weird little matchup, as it's Gags the Gimp, and yes, I am saying that correctly, taking on Lev. I am not 100% sure who Lev is, but he's an entertaining little wrestler. They kind of fought kind of in the X Division style, with a couple more flippies, although it was, Lev definitely was a bit more ground and pound, including a couple of times loosening the mask of Gags, which was very interesting. Eventually, he does get the mask off Gags, who then completely hides his face, rolls under the ring, comes back out with a new brown mask, which, interesting color choice, comes back in, it's a reverse DDT, which, a la Scorpion Death Drop, to pick up the win. So, nice win for Gags. Not sure what this means for him or his group, but we'll see. We then get an interview for Magic Jake Dumas and Zion via Austin Idol, who pretty much takes over this interview, where he says, I've always been on top of my game, even in the original incarnation of the NWA. The three of us here are gold. Dane to us means absolutely nothing. Do you know how many men I've beaten? He lists off the guys he's won against. Should we be shaking in our boots? Tonight, Jax Dane, Storm, you've made a big mistake. This one is on you. We then cut to our next match of the evening, as it's Zion and Magic Jake Dumas taking on Jax Dane and Baron Von Storm. Tire time. Storm is teasing the Claw with the opponents tagging out because they're scared of it. Eventually, Dane does tag in and they wrestle for a little bit, which is good. Then Jake and Zion with tagging in and out, performing some moves. Then Storm comes in, untagged, goes for the Claw. Jake then blocks it with his own hand. Zion with a low blow. Bunch of elbow drops. Zion gets tagged in. Then Jake takes out one of his playing cards, because he's a magician, and cuts in between his fingers, which I absolutely hate that. Jake comes in, goes for a moonsault, only gets a 2. Storm with the Iron Claw from his back. Eventually, Zion gets in the ropes. And then Storm with the Iron Claw to Austin Idol ringside. Magic Jake then with a roll-up for the 1, 2, 3. So your winners are Zion and Magic Jake Dumas, which definitely a surprise win by the two. We'll see how this goes in the future. We then get a nice 10-bell salute along with the names of wrestlers who are no longer with us. That was very nice by the NWA. And then we go to our main event, which honestly, this match on paper should have been a world title match. But alas, it is just this, as we got Thrillbilly Silas Mason taking on Colby Corino. And these two, perfectly matched up. You got Colby Corino using more of his speed and his finesse, while Thrillbilly just powering through Colby Corino. One point, Colby was going for the Bulldog. Thrillbilly just pushes him off. Colby counters a Boston Crab into a Cloverleaf, but Thrillbilly is so big he gets in the ropes. Colby with a big side slam, only for a 2. Silas Mason was going for a big old body slam that gets blocked with Colby locking in a sleeper, but Silas powers out. Colby tries for a moonsault that misses. Silas with a big old meat hook clothesline, only for a 2 count. 1 point, Colby with a low bridge on Silas Mason goes for the dive. Mason catches Colby Corino ringside, tries to do something with him. Colby gets out, hits a super kick, and a code red up on the stage, which that wasn't very impressive. Colby gets back in. Thrillbilly beats the 10 count. Colby goes for a clothesline that gets off the top rope, that gets caught. Thrillbilly tries for the thrill ride, that gets blocked into a roll-up, only for a 2. Then Thrillbilly It's the thrill ride for the 1, 2, 3. So your winner is Thrillbilly Silas Mason. And honestly, if you don't watch NWA, watch it for that match alone. That match was absolutely beautiful with two guys who know exactly what they're doing. So, yeah, that is it for me for my review. I hope you guys all enjoyed. Coming up on Monday will be my Crown Jewel review. I'm not 100% sure when I'm going to watch it, but that is my plan. And then my review for SmackDown, Rampage, and maybe Collision. We'll see about that. But until next time, happy wrestling, everybody. Peace.